The early morning of September 11, 2001, dawned just like any other in the bustling metropolis of New York City. The sky was crisp, the air cool, and the rhythm of life beat on with its typical urgency. People rushed to their offices, grabbed coffee, and settled into their routines. But, unbeknownst to them, a dark plan was already in motion, one that would change the world forever. The quiet before the storm. At 8 a.m., 4 commercial flights took off from various airports on the East Coast, seemingly routine. But on board were 19 men with a sinister purpose. Each flight was headed toward different destinations on the West Coast, chosen specifically because their fuel tanks would be full, turning the planes into deadly weapons. These men, members of the radical terrorist group Al-Qaeda, led by the shadowy and elusive Osama bin Laden, were about to carry out the most audacious and devastating terrorist attack in modern history. On American Airlines Flight 11, which had departed from Boston's Logan Airport at 7:59 a.m., passengers were blissfully unaware of what was about to unfold. But shortly after takeoff, a group of 5 hijackers quietly rose from their seats. The passengers heard commotion, gasps, and then silence as the cockpit was stormed and the pilots overtaken. They were no longer in control of their destiny. The first strike, North Tower. At 8:46 a.m., as New Yorkers were settling into the day, an unfamiliar roar thundered above Manhattan. With chilling precision, Flight 11 slammed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center at 465 miles per hour. The plane tore through floors 93 to 99, instantly killing hundreds of workers inside. A fireball of jet fuel erupted into the sky, creating a cloud of smoke that began to blanket the city. But this was just the beginning. Television cameras quickly zoomed in on the burning tower, news anchors speculating that it was a freak accident. However, a growing sense of dread filled the air. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, unaware of the true horror about to unfold. The world watchers in horror, South Tower. Just as the world began to grasp the enormity of the situation, a second commercial airliner, United Airlines Flight 175, came into view. This time, there was no question that the unthinkable was happening. At 9:03 a.m., the plane, under the control of 5 more hijackers, crashed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. The impact occurred between floors 77 and 85, again igniting a massive explosion that tore through the building. This was no accident. The United States was under attack. As the world watched in stunned disbelief, the towers, symbols of economic power, were engulfed in flames. The smoke billowed, turning the New York skyline into an apocalyptic scene. The clock was ticking for the thousands trapped inside. Chaos unfolds in Washington. The Pentagon hit. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away in Washington, D.C., another chapter of this grim story was unfolding. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77, which had been hijacked after departing Washington Dulles Airport, was flown directly into the Pentagon, the heart of U.S. military power. The explosion tore a massive hole in the western side of the building, killing 125 military personnel and civilians inside, in addition to all 64 passengers on the plane. Panic spread across the nation. The seat of American power was in peril, and no one knew when or where the next strike would come. The White House and the U.S. Capitol were evacuated. Fighter jets scrambled to protect the skies, but the horror wasn't over yet. Follow me for part 2.